Ah, Good evening and salutations, my GH friends. You know, want to start off by saying, back to yesterday's episode, it's like they decided to wake up and it was literally was like, oh yeah, we gotta sit there and be entertaining and fun and stuff like that. It's like they kind of forgot about that, and today they woke up and it was like, yeah, okay, I think it's time to actually have a good episode. Now, been watching my videos the past couple of days. Said it before, and I'll say it again. Listen, fuck it. I can't do it. Like, I'm just really done with this whole Sam thing. And yes, I understand it's a soap opera. It's going to take a while before they kind of get through the whole thing. And I get that part. But, like, I'm really not caring anymore. Another thing, I feel like when they decided to make Kate Mansing the new Christina, it's like they went out their way to make sure that people couldn't stand her. They made sure to make her as annoying and obnoxious as possible. And I'm trying to sit there and give a little grace towards her because she is in the office with Molly and Alexis and TJ Smith. They're talking about, they had to sit there and get back the ring and everything. And, they're like, what happened? Why does she have a heart attack and everything? We want, they want answers. And so TJ Smith did talk about an autopsy. And Christina just starts to object. She's like, no, we're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. And on one level, I get the idea of cutting up or, emotionally your sister that just passed away. Like, I get it. It's gut wrenching in a sense. But at the same time, y'all want to sit there and find out what happened, right? So, like, you spazzing out like that, first of all, that's not good for mom. Okay, let's just be honest. She is barely holding it together. Number two, you want to find out what's going on, right? So we don't need this right now. We don't need this level of outbursts and stuff. And Molly has to sit there and talk to her like she's talking to a 12-year-old little girl. Like, well, we got to sit there and find out what's going on, right? Okay, so this is how we got to sit there and do it. Um, And at one point, I thought they was about to sit there and start bickering again. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. Day 374 of them going back and forth like cats and dogs. Like, I can't do it. And of course, towards like the middle or end part, well, towards the beginning of it, Felicia comes in there and helps Alexis navigate the whole process of going through that. Um, Now Sasha is in the kitchen and Willow comes in there. She's like, I can't believe you did this. How could you do this to me? Sasha's sitting there thinking, oh shit, she found out about the whole me bumping and grinding with her husband. So she starts apologizing until she realizes it's about, the whole Cody thing and her telling Cody, which, let's be honest, that was stupid. Like, you had two choices. You could have either told Willow. I mean, you could have kept it a secret for Willow, or you could have told Michael, right? She's getting all upset, like, how could you sit there and betray me like that? Like, in reality, you act like you're her only friend, like Michael wasn't her friend also. Wouldn't it have been an obligation to sit there and tell Michael the truth since they're friends? No, 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 no. She's in her feelings. This is about her, right? So Sasha does apologize, right? She does apologize, and it kind of mellows down a little bit after she just goes on and on and on. And we saw the preview, so I thought she was just going to sit there and set her straight right then and there. But then it gets to the point where she talks about Cody, how she can't be together with Cody because, they're first cousins and her mom is really alive. And she gets hurt by that. But then she's like, man, it's like, I really don't know you and stuff. And then once again, she brings back up, you really did this to me. I value, I'm not, I value my marriage. And I was like, well, let's just be very clear. You didn't value shit about your marriage, okay? Because if you did, you wouldn't have sat there and kissed Drew. So don't sit there and start giving that BS about how you value your marriage and you're a good wife and blah, 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 blah. Ain't nobody buying that shit. And finally, Sasha had enough. And Sasha was like, yo, listen, at the end of the day, you did this to yourself. You want to sit there and blame everybody else for your screw up. And it was you. This is your fault. Okay? You're the homewrecker. You wrecked your own home. Let's be very clear about that. That's not what she said, but that's essentially she was like, don't put this on me. This is on you. And she gets to a point, she's like, you know what? I don't even need to live here anymore. Like, I lost my best friend. I can't be with the man I want to be with. And honestly, to tell you the truth, these people are snakes pretty much. Now Willow's like, oh well, you don't have to do no, 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 Willow. You kind of just need to stop talking at this point. Now it seemed like they were gonna really kind of go back and forth a little bit, but Carly came in and Carly had to sit there and tell both of them about Sam's death. There was a point where Drew, oh, the hate bandwagon with Drew just keeps on growing. So he's up there telling Carly, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How I'm going to, I don't know how to raise a little girl. Like, how am I going to sit there and do this without Sam? And, my whole thing is like, you're her father. What did you expect? Right? Like, I wouldn't necessarily sit there and say that Drew is a deadbeat dad, but he seemed way too comfortable for a very long time of being an absentee dad, you know? I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna sit there and try to preach like, oh, well, this is how you raise a daughter, this is how you raise a child, and stuff like that. I'm not a parent, but it's not like I'm like maybe if you would have actually been in more in her life, you could have been better prepared for this. Now you're sitting there like, oh, Sam's not here, so like, what do I do? It's like, well, she's your daughter, so like, maybe you should sit there and try to figure this shit out. Just saying. Um, Michael comes in there. Michael comes in with a slight little remark before Drew just walks off, and then Michael finds out about Sam. And Carly was like, "Yo, where did that come from?" He was like, "You know what? At this point, it doesn't really matter." So he talked for a little bit about Sam, and again, this is where just like. Then he gets a call from Christina, so he goes down there to Christina. Christina is just she's mad, she's pissed off, and I understand. Like she's like I did everything right, and I'm still grieving, and I'm lost. I lost so much, so it's a lot, and I get that part. And then Michael comes in there, and they talk for a little bit about Sam, and it's kind of. But then afterwards, um, or at some point, see, this is another thing that just pisses me off about Willow, right? You just been brung down to earth, realizing that this is your fault, that you screwed up your marriage, right? So you see Drew upstairs, right? And Drew's like, how am I going to sit there and, I just told Scout and what am I going to do and this, that, and the third. And she walks over and she hugs him. And I'm just like, I get that you want to comfort him, but given your track record, do you really think that's a good idea? Do you really think that's a good idea? You know? Hell, honestly, to tell you the truth, maybe you should just walk right back out. Maybe you should have just sat there and walked back out. And by the way, Sasha was also sitting there saying you should sit there and tell the truth. You should tell the truth about the second kiss. She's all like, oh, I don't want to sit there and hurt. A little kind of late for that. You should have just walked out. And you didn't do that. So, again, Drew's sitting there talking about Scout and how he's going to sit there and raise her and everything and do it without Sam and stuff. And one thing leads to the next. And they start kissing. And I'm like, It's, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. I'm just like, okay, cool, they kissed or whatever, and I'm just like, all right, bro, this is already bad. Then they make it 1,000 times worse. They start pretty much having loving in the afternoon, right on a goddamn floor. Okay? Right on the floor, just right there. And I'm like, I mean, I was laughing at the time. I look back at it now, I'm just like, and then I see the preview and she's crying and everything, like, this could never happen again. I'm like, no, stop. Stop. You ever try to swear off of something to a point where you start to get annoyed at your own voice? This should already be happening to Willow at this point. Don't get me wrong, Drew is just to blame. Okay? They're both to blame. They're both equally to blame in this whole thing. And you know what? Let's take it a step further because I want to sit there and try to have equal treatment. You know, no one is spared the rod. But let's be honest, Michael. Well, actually, now you're both pretty shitty people. So never mind. Um, Speaking of Nina and Ava, they start talking. They get into the whole Drew thing, and Nina's not there putting all the blame on Drew. And I'm kind of just like, in some ways, maybe it was a good idea that Willow wasn't raised by you. Because she would have been just as entitled and just as much of a dingbat to blame everybody else for their problems. I mean, for the problems that you caused, blame it on them. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of pissed me off at the while. I was like, yo, she just started calling him name. You're a dog, you're a user, you're this, you're that, you're the third. I'm like, boom, you're a baby kidnapper. Okay? You kept Sonny from his family for close to a year. You don't have any room to sit there and talk about anybody. The amount of shit talking she was there doing was just laughable by the fact that after she told Ava, oh yeah, by the way, me and him are sitting there doing it. So if Drew is this, that, and the third, what are you? Hell, you're doing all this behind your daughter's back. You have this stupid, convoluted, idiotic plan of bumping uglies with him so you could distract him from being with Willow. Like, in what world does that actually make sense other than a soap opera? This is the dingbat level that Nina has achieved. So I'm just like, now, Holly and Robert are talking, and Diane comes in, and she's just kind of annoyed as far as seeing Holly and stuff. She drops in some sort of paper or whatever for, I guess, their deposition or whatever, and she leaves. She finds out about Sam's death through Jason. So after another long paragraph about how she was this, that, and the third, how could she die by a heart attack, blah, 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 blah. She talks about her own romantic roles. Long story short, she's just done with Robert. She says that she feels Robert is still in love with Holly, and, he's not going to sit there and stand in her way. And she's going to sit there and find her own happiness that she can, be happy with it, that's not going to be in love with somebody else. So once again, Harley done found the way to ruin this man's life. And to be fair, I'm not just going to put it all on Harley, because he is a willing participant. You sat there and you kissed her, so you're just as bad as her. But this is exactly what Mac was sitting there worried about. And I remember some people were sitting there saying, a couple of videos back, a couple of weeks back, when Felicia was sitting there trying to set up Holly with Robert and acting like that was a good idea. And it was just one of those things where it's like, and some people in the comment section was like, well, Holly and Robert, Holly and I mean, Felicia had known them for a while. Maybe, she would know what Robin would want. And I'm just like, the level of thinking with some people is just astonishing. Anyway, at some point, Carly and Sasha are talking. Now, Holly went back to her hotel and realized, somebody been through her stuff and actually had a knife through one of her dresses or whatever as a warning. And so she goes back to Robin and is like, yeah, I'm in trouble. I am very curious how did Sitwell find out that Sasha was Holly's daughter because he went right to the Quartermaines. I thought he was going to grab both Holly, Sasha and Carly, but he used Carly as a messenger to sit there and make sure that he got back his diamonds. Damn, Holly's just causing all sorts of trouble. Trouble for her daughter, just trouble. I mean, hell, even if Sonny did not sit there and take those diamonds, still would still got there, would have still kidnapped Sasha, and she still would want to be a screw. You stole. I don't know if this guy's like a warlord or something like that, but you stole from a very dangerous man. Everything that happens at this point is on Holly. So yeah, all in all, I would sit there and say a good episode. Oh, and also TJ was there with Molly. There's some other scenes that I didn't really talk about, but that is just the general gist of the episode. So all in all, minus the Sam stuff, I would sit there and say it was actually a good episode. So yeah, like I said before, General Hospital just had to wake up today, so I was very happy about that. Got two more soap operas to come, so hopefully I can get them done, and I can do this live stream tonight because we we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about this as well as the other three soap operas that wound up happening today. I did sit there and say yesterday, I was like, B&B, you might have won yesterday's episode of the day, but GH was bringing it. Hey, so anyway, with any luck and a lot of deep focusing, should be able to get all this stuff done before the live stream tonight, which is, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I wasn't even planning on doing a live stream, but then I saw this episode, I was like, I was like, we gotta talk about this shit. We gotta talk about it. So yeah, when anything goes well, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we talk about this as well as YNR, Days, and B&B. And hopefully I'll see you tonight. And anything I missed or you want to sit there and talk about, write it in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video.